Okay, go ahead. Today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. The time is 7:00 p.m. I'd like to call the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting to order. Myself, Mike Capper is present.
Chris Duback present. Donnie, can you hear us?
Donnie, can you hear us? You're muted.
Donnie Curran here.
You're present by Zoom. Okay. Nobody in the audience for public comment. We can go through the September 11th meeting minutes. You already opened them.
We good?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from September 11th.
I'll second.
First and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Christina, library report.
Hi, guys. Things are pretty good at the library. You can hear me okay?
Yeah.
I take it. And we are this fall, just last week, we started another version. We call it Baby Academy, but basically it's baby story time. So this is our second story time of the week. And we had a session last spring. It was full. So we wanted to offer it again, just a little bit different format where we don't require registration and things. So that's going good. That just started up. We've got some other programs too. Like this afternoon was diamond painting, if you've ever heard of that. We've got some crafters that like to do that. So one of them decided that they would teach a class. And that is full too. A local woman was teaching it, Shauna Patterson, if you know her. And then so there were 12 participants that came to that this afternoon. So that was good. And then we're trying to get some more teens interested in library programs. So we have a 5 nights at Freddy's program later this month too. So we'll see how that goes. We have some volunteers that are on the spectrum that came and talked to me today. They're super excited about that program. So they had some crazy ideas of having animatronics and things at the library. Like, well, probably won't be able to afford that, but we'll try to make it fun. So yeah, we try to do something for different audiences within the community. I don't know if you guys have any questions or any feedback, things that you'd like to see at the library. Definitely open to that anytime you have ideas. So we are here
Love
to
how you have
listen.
events when there's no school. That's terrific. Give the kids
Yeah. That we like that too. I mean, it's just hard for parents sometimes when there's like, oh, there's no school, but yet I work, so we do try and have that. And our friends of the library are super generous with the library in that they fund these programs. Like last month, it was the Star Lab that came in, like the big blowout planetarium thing that, and so that was good. And then how we pay for a lot of these programs is with the proceeds of our silent auction that will be in November. So.
And Christina, how many people did you say came for the Baby Academy?
It varies because we offer it every week. So I'm not sure how many came today, but last week, I would say there were probably, 8 caregivers with the baby, so quite a bit. And then one of our librarians also does sibling care. So then we'll get so that the librarian can go in the sensory space, watch the 2 older kids, and then have the baby and mom usually will join in the story time. So that's kind of nice. And Family Resource Center, they're out of Baldwin, but they cover the county. They come over and do parent education. So to my knowledge, it's one of the only kind of really little, this is birth to 3 years old that does education within the area. So
Thank you for doing all this.
yeah, we love it. We love to serve the community and we love to hear their ideas of what they're looking forward to. So Thanks,
you.
guys.
Impact fee report. Was there any more that just haven't been listed, any in October yet?
We just had 2 picked up yesterday.
So since, so is it, are we at 19 then, or was it
Yeah.
more than that, just now?
No, 19.
19 total?
Yep.
And the 2 more picked up, were they capstone as well? Department head meeting report?
So we actually just met today. Excuse me, actually, we met on the 25th and, again, today, just to talk about budget stuff, so. I have an updated budget report that is in your packet, and Donnie, I'll share it on the screen for you. So yeah, that's pretty much, the majority of what was discussed. Tasia did mention that she still needs election workers, so, Christina said she was going to, hang a sign at the library, and she actually did refer one person, I believe, to Tasia so far, so. no.
Has anything been put on our website?
I have not checked the website. So that certainly is a good idea.
Maybe the village Facebook page and Public Works Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yep, all of them, yep.
And then I can, when I see it, I can share it on the Somerset community page.
Okay. I'll mention that to Tasia.
When's the drop dead, or I should say the date, is there any training or anything like that that needs to be done for them, or that we have to get them in by?
There's online training, I believe for, just regular, election inspectors, it's an hour.
Okay.
So I would say probably before the end of October.
Well, I think it's important too, that we just approved the new wage structure. I think if getting that out there saying, hey, anybody interested, you just got a wage increase, and if you wanna do this, but you gotta go through this training first.
Agreed.
Anything else to report?
Nope.
2024 budget to date and fund balances. Anything out of whack, Andrea?
I've been so focused on 25, I didn't really look at this one.
Could you remind me again, Andrea, when we get our state shared taxes?
November.
So that'll be on next month.
Well, this is through September. It'll be on 2 months from now.
And we're anticipating to get the 259, 828, 98.
Yeah.
Will there be more?
On.
As you had mentioned last month that we lost our aid, the shared revenue because we weren't at our mill rate was too low. Do you know what our mill rate needs to be at in order for us to be able to get that, or is that gone for good now?
So. First question, the shared revenue amount is actually going to be $260,541.21. They revised our payment that they're giving us. And
$500. Yeah.
And then, the expenditure restraint program, you have to have, your mill rate has to be over 5 mils. in order to qualify. And we were at.
But is that
24.
on, is that an ongoing thing?
Yeah,
For, okay,
but for 2024, we were at 4.7. And with levy limits, it's not going to happen for 2025 to be able to increase it over 5. So we will not qualify again for 2025.
so what could we increase, not like I'm saying I want to increase it, but in theory, if we were to increase, what could we increase with the levy limits restraints that we have on us right now? From 4.7 to what, 4.9?
It has to be over 5, so it would have to go like 5.01. And they actually take the decimal point out, I believe it's 5 places, so.
But you're
Yeah.
saying 2024, we're 4.7. But, and we won't qualify for 2025 because of the levy limits, right? So are we
Yeah.
restrained to a certain amount? What are we restrained to raise by?
I don't have that number yet for the levy limit. What we can go up. to.
So we don't know if we can go over 5.1, 5.01.
It'll be very difficult.
Because we'd have to spend a ton of money?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's all I needed to know. Mike, I guess the reason I was asking that is whether or not the 30 or 40,000 that we would increase in expenditures would be offset by the amount of money we were getting from the state. Doesn't sound like that's gonna be the case.
Correct, it would have to be more.
So-
It doesn't make sense.
So realistically, we'd have to spend how much money in order to get that 30 or 40,000?
I don't have that number up right in front of me.
Is there a chance you might be able to get that to me later on? Cause if anybody asks me that, why aren't we getting that? I say, because we'd have to spend this much money in order to
Yeah.
get it. And it doesn't, the end doesn't justify the means.
Yeah, I can get you that.
Thank you.
I
Is
see we're quite over on municipal building wages.
So that is, our cleaning person. Is, instead of going under municipal building other expenses, she's in the wage,
Oh, I'm
because I pay her through payroll,
so got
because
lumped
she's an
in there.
employee, so, yeah,
Okay,
so. The other expense is. Has a good cushion, so. It covers that overage in wages.
so the weed control employee benefits, there's a big change with that turnover was discussed.
Yeah, a different wage amount. For that,
For the only ones that stuck out to me.
Building inspector services. We have $60,000 budgeted. Just in September, we paid out $37,200. So we're at over $90,000. So we're $30,000 over budget. And we only have 19 building permits. Oh, what am I missing?
that's 19 new homes. That's not the total number of building permits issued. So the impact fees only go to new construction. So that's not the total building permits issued.
How many building permits have been issued? More than normal?
Well, there's been
A lot of signs.
big money permits that have been issued, that's why it's so much, but if you look at,
What's a big money permit?
the school remodel project was like $30,000 for the permit. So that's, we're paying him.
Cause I didn't see the,
If you look at your
I
revenue,
didn't see the revenue that. 107,000 actual.
so that 107 offsets the 90 expense. So those two,
Where's the, enlighten me, where's the building inspector fees? I don't even know where we're looking at.
do you want the revenue or the expense?
The expense, I seen the revenue, that's on like the second page, right?
The building inspector services is about
Page 5,
2/3 of the way down on page 5.
if you look at the percent of budget, it's at.
Okay.
150.25.
Is it normal for him to bill out, for the building inspector to bill out, that much in one chunk?
It depends on what kind of permit comes in. You know, if it's just all
Well,
normal.
37,000, you know, that's almost, that's over, that's over, 30% of what we took in for revenue for that year.
Mhm.
Is he
The-
just,
The school is doing a big project and their permit fee was a larger amount.
so I guess the question is, it just, I understand the larger amount, that would have been in last year or last months, or when did they take out their, they just, I guess I don't know how the building inspector bills. Does he bill when he completes the project? Cause if they completed the project, I can understand why we're getting that substantial bill.
So, the process is the, permit is issued. The person it's issued to pays the fee. And then at the end of the month, the building inspector gives us a report and I pay out from that report. So they're paid after the permit is issued.
Okay, so when they issue the permit, then at the end of the month, that's when the building inspector would invoice for the village for said amount?
Yep.
So in September, we would have been looking at seeing the revenue come in September or in August to reflect the $37,000 that we had in a bill?
So what I paid in September was the August building permits.
Right,
So it's a month behind, yep.
right. Okay, so August, we would have been seeing a significant increase in our revenues to reflect what that billing cycle was.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Is there a chance that we might be able to get a list of the building permits or a report from the building permits for the year from
Sure.
the building inspector? That'd be nice for us to, I think we used to review that on an annual basis, kind of see what's happening in the village.
Maybe there was a summary that was issued or something.
Yep, how many building permits were issued for, what kind of things they were issued for, et cetera, commercial signs, yada, yada,
Yep.
yada.
We have a spreadsheet that, we record them all on, so we can share that spreadsheet with you.
Oh, that'd be great. Maybe a quarterly, just to review it on a quarterly basis?
Sure.
That would be great. Other than that was the only thing that was really kind of jumping off to me. Everything else looks good.
I know we just had discussed it, that we're kind of running in the deficit in public works in a couple of areas on our budget, but we're gonna reflect that in our new budget process. With regards to some of our benefits and some of the things that we need to do in public works.
Anybody else have any questions or?
No.
I have nothing.
Discussion, implementation of impact fees.
Yeah,
Chairman,
I asked to have this put on because I wanted to make sure that we were all, if there's anything else that we had to do or recommend to ensure that the implementation of impact fees will happen at this next month's meeting, and that we can get it adopted at the end of by the end of this month.
So, last month, the board recommended to proceed, so a notice was put in the paper. And on the website, posted at the three, posting locations. And after that public hearing, if the board approves the ordinance to change the impact fees to what the needs assessment states, it has to be published one time, and then the day after it would go into effect, the day after publication. So
The public hearing is when?
October 15th. So it would be in effect by the end of the month. If approved.
if the public notice on this is only 15 days instead of 30, right?
It's 20.
20 days.
20 days.
Any other questions on that, Downey?
Okay, so October 15th, there's a public hearing. What time is that public hearing at? And will it be
It's at your
available?
board meeting. It's at the board meeting.
Oh, okay, so all right, that's the public meeting. Got it. I didn't know if that was before. Got it. So if the board acts on it, then after notice has been published, it would come into effect one day following that. Is that what I heard correctly? Thank you. That's all I needed. Thank you.
New business, discussion possible recommendation, village office hours.
Yes, so it was brought to my attention that there was some individuals that might want to get in and access the village office on the weekends to pay on Friday, I should say, to pay like a village bill. And I don't know, do we have coverage for Fridays? I know we have Monday through Thursday. I believe it's 9 to 4. Is that correct?
8 to 4.
8 to 4. And it's open till noon on Friday?
Correct.
So what can we do to ensure we are open possibly on Friday for normal business hours?
You would have to change the office hours.
Well, do we have a possible rotational shift? So one person is available to handle that one Friday a month. I'm looking at least do we have the capability of one person being able to handle the issues of somebody wants to pay a bill or ask for a permit or whatever the case may be? Or is the whole office have to be open?
The whole office has to be open.
Hello, I was, oh God, I can't think it's officer something that I'm supposed to meet here. I told him I'd be here in 10 minutes.
You know what, if you step back out into the vestibule, there's an intercom system.
Yeah.
You can just push the police button.
Okay.
So
Johnny, they are actually open until noon on Fridays. And a lot of work can be done through the Dropbox as well. If people needed, see.
Well, what if
something-
an individual wanted to pay their public works bill and came in on Friday afternoon and wanted to pay cash and wanted a receipt? Then that individual is going to be potentially, I don't know if it is or not. I'm just thinking out loud here is, I know we posted it until noon. And accommodations can be made. But if the individual comes to us and says, well, he wasn't able to pay that bill because the office wasn't open or it closed at noon on Friday, and then we charge them and assess them a fee. I'm concerned that we couldn't just rotate somebody into cover at least public works end of it instead of having the whole office open.
The short hours on Friday has been in place since 2015. It's not something new. The hours are posted on your utility bill and, in the vestibule, there's at least 3 different spots. If one person's complaint about not being able to pay their bill, on a Friday afternoon is warranting a change to something that's been in place for a long time, then you tell us what you want us to do.
And again, I was looking at, I guess, why the whole office needs to be open, to handle that versus having somebody being able to rotate in as an option
I
to.
was
keep
here
that open.
until 3 o'clock last Friday and I had no people come in to the village hall from noon to 3.
Okay,
And that was pretty much the trend. That's why the shorter hours on Friday was put into place.
And that's why you're opening earlier now.
And
right?
that's why we opened earlier, because there were people, before the hours were 9 to 4:30 or something.
Yeah.
And people were coming, we were noticing people were coming before 9 o'clock and not so much after 4. So that's when we said, let's do 8 to 4 instead. So that we can be at the window of helping people in the earlier hours. And if I don't always leave at noon, and if I'm here and somebody comes to the window, I will help them. I'm not gonna just hide in my office and not do my job by helping the residents.
well, don't get me wrong, I'm not bringing this up as saying you guys aren't doing your job or anything like that. I'm seeing if there was some kind of possible, accommodation to that versus, the whole office needs to be open versus, like you said, if you're there or somebody else is there, that there would be that opportunity for the office to be available on that time. But if the rest of the committee feels that it's not worthy of a change at this time, and I'm just asking the question if there's other options that could be had versus a hard no. That's it's an all or none kind of thing.
I'd say certainly let's keep our ears open. If we hear continued complaints, then maybe we should readdress it. But from experience, there's hardly anybody coming in Friday afternoon, so maybe this was just kind of a unusual situation.
You would think more people would be coming in on Fridays, if they were to vote absentee, or during this election too. And I noticed that there's posted that the office is closed at noon except for the Friday before the election. That's the only one I understand that's by state statute. Is there some kind of understanding that we can, be able to at least accommodate having our offices open until 5 o'clock for a couple weeks prior to the election for offering people to be able to come in and cast their ballot on a Friday.
So it would be the 20, there's only, because it's only 2 weeks of in-person voting.
Mhm.
So it would just be one more Friday that we would be open until
5 o'clock. That's correct. That's what
I
I'm
think
asking.
we can make that accommodation, Donnie.
I would really appreciate that on behalf of all the residents. We can say at least we're open. And if we get a notice out on the website and Facebook saying, we're changing our office hours to be open till 5 o'clock for in-person voting the last 2 weeks before, that would be fabulous.
So.
Okay,
Okay.
Ready to move on to proposed budgets? 2025 proposed budgets. It's the only thing I'm seeing so far that's,
Hold on a second, I gotta pull it up because Donnie doesn't have the latest version.
so mine that's all marked up is not gonna work for me.
Oh, you can.
I spent all this time this weekend going through this thing.
Well, it's basically the revenues are added in.
Okay,
That's the big difference.
so we got the revenue numbers.
Well, we have some, so what I did. Is this tax levy amount that's highlighted here, I just took the same tax levy from 2024 and put it in for 2025. And at that amount, keeping it flat, there is an overage of expenses by $21,000. However, I did receive from Jay Toner today that our health insurance went up 8.78% on the lower deductible plan and 9.76, I believe it was. I don't know, for the higher deductible plan. So in
Wait a
this
minute.
budget.
Did you-
in this
did you
proposed
say-
budget-
Can you run it? Clarify that to me. 8.7 for the lower deductible, 9.7 for the high deductible. Is that correct?
Sorry, 9.86.
9.86 for the high deductible and
Yep.
8.7 for the low deductible.
Yes,
Oh, I'd like that plan.
in this proposed budget, we estimated 12% increase for health insurance and 5% for dental, so that $21,000 will go down. Because it's overstated in those numbers.
Can I ask a question? What is under rent of 22,000? I'm sorry, Parkland, $22,000, 48,310.
That is, a developer paid the parkland dedication fees instead of, dedicating a park space.
Okay, so that's due to new developments, right?
Yep,
Okay, but you what development was that on?
that would be Pineville.
Okay, so that was the amount of money that we got from Pine Val, for the whole development for Parkland? Or is that
For
just
this-
is that a portion?
This portion, yeah.
Okay, okay. And there'll be additional payments of that then for this next year then, I assume?
If they choose to not have a park space in any additional phases. Yes,
they have the option of either paying for it or putting the park space in.
yeah.
Is that per each section? Or
For each development.
Pine Valley, right? There's what, 4 developments on that, right? Or 3?
Just one, it's one development, so they pay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so
If they have
130,
additions,
okay, so on the 138 lots, we're talking $22,000 for parkland development.
yeah. I think it's $500.
Yeah, that sounds right.
No, I misspoke the first time, Donnie. It's for the whole thing, not each phase.
Okay,
And then, guess everything looks really good to me, except it's a revenue, but. Why do we anticipate our police officer wage reimbursement to go up like 75%?
Because the agreement's going back to, he's there full time during the school.
Oh, so the school portion of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
makes perfect sense. Thank you.
I would also note that, the wages under police officers is what they were requesting, the first
So
one.
that- Yeah,
So that's what's in there.
so under clerk salary and treasurer's wages,
Mhm.
that's only a portion of what we're talking about here, right?
Correct.
Because we went from 40,000 under treasurer's wages to 24,000 in 2025. So what happened there?
Oh, that's me putting the wrong number in.
I don't think you're looking for a $15,000 pay cut.
No, thank you. I'll fix that.
I noticed that too, but I figured it was money coming out from some other item. So it was a typo?
Yeah. I bet you it's supposed to be 42.
Are we looking at a wage increase there then of a percentage?
Everybody put in 4.5 for full-time and 3 for part-time. Obviously, that's a wish. You guys
And then-
said that.
And then on the last page where it's. Oh, never mind. I see where I. Looked at the wrong numbers.
With the change in the pay for election, are we gonna have enough accounted for here? Cause I know we have the budget of 6,000, but the proposed budget's the same. Is that because we have less elections this next time around, or?
Correct. There's only 2 elections in 2025 versus 4.
Got it. So if we had 4 elections, what is that what we're looking at? We'd be looking at $12,000? Pardon?
Possibly. It depends on if there's primaries for both spring and fall. And how many workers are at each one.
We could have a couple recalls too. Just looking for Donnie to question, but he didn't have one.
He's looking at the numbers.
Did you hear me, Donnie?
What's that?
I said we could have a couple recalls too.
Well, we could. We most certainly could.
So
Anything.
the expenses, total expenses went up 5.63 from 24 to 25, and revenues went up 4.75%
Yeah.
from 24 to 25.
And like I said, those expenses will change. I didn't have time to put in the, changed health insurance.
And what was the dollar amount difference in your wages that was wrong?
Oh. I'll include that in.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be 42. I don't want to pull it up while I'm sharing this. So,
You bet you think.
But Could I make a suggestion then, Andrea, if you make those changes and we can get this out on, out and posted for people to review and let them know about the next budget meeting. I think we scheduled it on the 22nd, right at 6 o'clock.
42.
That way, people kind of what we're looking at, and we don't know what our act, other than the health insurance rates. What we're saying, we're proposing a 4.5% increase in salaries, which is reflected in this budget, and that you'll be able to get the health insurance cost in line along with the other numbers that are dialed in.
Will you be able to show us out
That would.
Yeah.
And because right now I'm looking at mine and all I can do is kind of see what you're scrolling down through. So,
Is there something you want to look at?
pardon?
Is there an area that you want to look at?
I honestly, I'll get a paper copy. I'll look at it, and if I have any comments, I'll give them on the 22nd.
Okay.
Other than that one that I caught, and I didn't even know that was in yours. I was looking at my paper copy.
So, did I hear something from the Public Works meeting that you were changing one of the line items on street maintenance or something?
Street maintenance is gonna come down, but our
Okay.
outlay, our capital outlay was factored in at 50,000. I'm trying to find that in here. Where's our park outlay at?
Here, I have the outlay budget pulled up here.
So we had 50, can't see it. We had 50,000 for park outlay. And the board had originally recommended approval of 85,000 for park outlay.
Okay. So then you're gonna take some of that off of street maintenance wages?
Well, I don't know if they take it off. I just, they made that note,
Okay.
and I'm waiting for Bob to see what that number is gonna be. It wasn't actually formalized in our public works, what that
Okay.
number is gonna come down to.
Okay, yeah, I just caught that when I was here at the end of the meeting, so.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll have.
There was a couple of adjustments that were being made from our review, and I'm sure Bob will get them to you along with that recommendation from the board.
Okay.
What we did do though too is the $10,000 that we had for parks. I'm trying to find it here. Where's the parks outlay? Bear with me here for a second. I gotta pull up my other funds here.
No, that's.
Budget here.
It's Monday.
You know where so the police equipment outlay went from 15,000 in 24 to 35,000, you know why that went up so much?
Which budget are you on?
On the very last page, police equipment outlay. So 2024 actual was $7,700, budget's 15, but then the proposed budget for 25 is 35,000.
That came from Joel, so I can ask him for the meeting on the 22nd.
Thank you. And then the radio equipment outlay for the proposed budget, 21,000. But we've already approved the.
We won't get them until 2025.
Well, so we won't pay for them until 2025? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Say if we just spent $21,000 on 6 radios in 24, we shouldn't need 6 new radios in
Right.
25. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think Joel said it's 660.
So in the 470 part of the budget, under under parks equipment outlay was, budgeted at 7,000 in 2024, kicked to 10,000 in 2025. And what we said is we were kicking at 85,000 into parks improvements. The 10,000 should be put to that because we're doing the parks improvements. So another, there wouldn't be anything in park equipment outlay because part of that 85,000 is getting the swings and getting all of the mulch and stuff, the pea gravel replaced with handicap accessible mulch, and getting the stuff fixed on the parks improvements. So that 10,000 would go to the 50,000 and actually would go up to 85,000. So we'd be looking at basically a $25,000 increase in that number of 233.
Okay.
I hope that explains that.
Yep.
Far as the rest of this, that's what happened, and then the other stuff can come from Bob on his
Yeah.
note to you, and we'll get adjusted, and you can get it back out to us, and we'll get it posted on if we can get this posted out, and that'd be great. That way, everybody's got it, and we can look forward to our next budget meeting.
Yep.
You have any questions, guys?
Nope, everything looks good. Just my question is the police equipment outlay. We went from 13,000 in 22 to $1,000 actual in 23 to a $15,000 budget in 24 to 35,000 proposed budget, which is a substantial increase. That's my, the only thing. Then I'm seeing everything else looks really good.
I'll take a look at those numbers when I get the hard copy in my face here. The review, though, we got the 22nd, and I believe there was one more, right? I'm gonna look back at my notes here.
22nd and 28th if
Right.
needed for the 28th.
So if the 22nd, if we need to have the 28th, we'll determine that on the 22nd, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Any future agenda items?
Move to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye, meeting is adjourned at 7:48 PM. Nice job, guys. Thank you.
Wow.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, Donnie, thank you. Keep up all our good work.